And bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bomb bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of
Rocco can sing it, can't he? Game number 4. And here we go with the Yankees and the Royals from Yankee Stadium.
1 hour ago, Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles, the Dodgers wrapped things up and got into the World Series once again. Here's the way it happened. Ron Cey, second inning, a one-out double to left field. A man whose bat has been fairly silent in the playoffs so far. Dusty Baker is the batter. He follows with a single over the head of the Philly third baseman, Mike Schmidt. That looping drive scored Ron Cey from second base. The Dodgers in front, 1-0, top of the third inning. The Phillies bouncing back. Larry Boa singling over the head of the second baseman. After a fly out, Greg Glazinski, the Bull, hammers one of Doug Rao's pitches over the fence in left center. The 11th consecutive playoff game in which Glazinski has had at least one hit. Phillies lead 2-1, bottom of the 4th. Ron Cey at bat again. The count's 3-2, and the man they call the Penguin puts one deep into the left field stands. That ties the game 2-2. Bottom of the 6th. Starter Randy Lurch still in there for the Phillies. Steve Garvey up, 1 out. It's gone. His 4th of the series. His 6th home run in playoff competition. That breaks Sal Bando's record. Dodgers lead now 3-2. Phillies will not die. Top of the 7th. Bake McBride pinch hitting. He bangs one into the right field seats. Barely in, but it counts just the same as a tape measure job. 13th home run of the playoffs. That ties a record. Scores 3-3, bottom of the 10th now. 2 down. Ron Cey has walked, and Dusty Baker, a line drive to center. Gary Maddox drops it for an error. Runners at first and second. Russell, another hit to center. Maddox tries to charge it. It skips by him. Cey is in with a run that puts the Dodgers into the World Series for the 3rd time in 6 years. The Dodgers, 4 runs, 13 hits, no errors. The Phillies, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. Those familiar Dodgers. They were great when they were in Brooklyn. They're great in Los Angeles. They're in the World Series once again. And so the Los Angeles Dodgers will be in the World Series for the 16th time. They've won it 4 times. They have played the New York Yankees 9 times and have won twice. Now back to Yankee Stadium and Keith Jackson.
And so we are now in Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees lead the Royals 2-1 as the little Cajun, who pitches like a man on flames, a man consumed with energy. Not very big. I doubt if he weighs 160 pounds, but only 3 teams beat him in 1978, Milwaukee, Baltimore, and Toronto. The Toronto game, he was chased after 1 2/3 innings, his shortest appearance of the year. He won 25. And he has not had the privilege of pitching against the Kansas City Royals in the playoff series for the simple reason he was the pitcher in the tiebreaker game last Monday in Boston, and he got the win. So here he is tonight with the big one and the opportunity to put the Royals away. With Bill Kunkel back at the plate, Dave Phillips at first, Perry Cooney umpiring at second base, Lou DeMuro at third, Rich Garcia down the left field line, and Ron Luciano down the right field line. Looking back over the history of the two times these teams have played previously, as you see the distances here at Yankee Stadium, 387 in left, 430 to left center, the deepest part of the ballpark. Right center 385 and 353 down the right field line. In 76, they swapped it with the Yankees breaking on top, the Royals coming back. The Yankees won, the Royals won, and finally the Yankees won on Chambliss' home run. Last year, turned around the other way and worked right along out until the Yankees could pull it out in the last game as well. So if history really means anything, then we'll be playing tomorrow night here at Yankee Stadium. But last year, the Yankees did not have the overwhelming personage in Ron Guidry. And the word we have, the Yankees will come when Guidry is ready. Ronnie is ready, and the Yankees will take the field. I would also point out in Guidry's history that 15 of his 25 wins this year have followed a Yankee loss. We're now at the season where we start looking, I guess, for those kind of statistics with Roy White in left field. The veteran has been steady throughout the playoff series. In center field, still carrying a sore hip, but feeling much better than yesterday, Mickey Rivers. And over in right field, the man who ended the game sliding yesterday, a sitting down catch, Lou Piniella. On the inside, it is Greg Nettles at third base. The shortstop is Bucky Dent right there with Greg. And the second baseman is Brian Doyle. Willie Randolph, if he is healthy enough, would be available for the Yankees should they make the World Series. Chris Chambliss is at first base. Thurman Munson, who struck the mighty blow for the 6-5 victory yesterday, back at the plate. And on the mound, the man who's become known around this country as the Little Cajun, the man with a whipping arm, Ron Guidry. Kansas City batting order has been changed. George Brett will lead off, followed by Hal McRae, Amos Otis. Al Cowens has been moved up to the number 4 spot. Darrell Porter dropped back to 5. John Wathen is at first base. There's the order with Frank White moving up. Patek is hitting 8th, and Willie Wilson in left field tonight against the left-hander will be hitting in the number 9 position. George Brett, who hit 3 successive home runs yesterday, faces Guidry, swings and misses for strike 1. Is low for ball 1. Ball 2.
I asked George how he's going to try to hit off Ron, and he said you got to scuffle when a guy throws like this.
I would think. He hits it well to deep right center field. Piniella going way back to the wall and jumps. It's off the wall. Brett going around second, heading for third. He'll go into third. Triple George Brett.
He said in the pregame interview, Ron Guidry is not God. He typifies the Royals team. He wants to lead them, and he has just shown them that Ron Guidry can be hit.
Well, Howard, in this situation, he did the same thing that all pitchers do when you get behind in the first inning, 2-1. You want to throw a fastball. You don't want to walk the leadoff hitter. And we've said all during this series that George Brett is a tremendous hitter, and he just hit it off the right center field wall.
Now here is a man Kansas City needs more production from, Hal McRae. He's had 2 hits and 10 trips. Brett at third with a leadoff triple. Foul back.
I guess it's supposed to be fun. They booed George Brett here when he came up and when he was introduced. I don't think it's fun. I think a great athlete should get what he deserves. Cheers wherever the ball falls. Whatever team a fan roots for.
Well, maybe that's their way of showing respect here. I get booed. I always thought that's because I was a good pitcher. Maybe I'm wrong.
If you're not, you've got a scoop.
Up the middle, base hit. Brett scores. McRae's aboard. Royals lead 1-0, top of the first inning.
And here you'll see Guidry throw a fastball, and he probably threw it good, but it's right in the middle of the plate. It's down. And McRae hit it right back up the middle, which is what Charlie Lau tries to get all his Kansas City Royals to do.
Instinctively, Guidry reached for a flash of a second with the pitching hand and then withdrew it.
They don't look like a team that feels doomed, do they? The way they've begun. And that's the point I wanted to make in the pregame show. This team has heart and it has hope.
Amos Otis, as McRae takes off and the pitch is loose at the plate, and McRae is on second.
I think if there's one weakness Ron Guidry has, because he's an excellent fielder, he has a great arm, he's had a fantastic season, I'm not sure if he has a very good pickoff move. Or maybe it's because not too many guys get to first, but he gets to the plate quick, but he does not hold runners well.
Well, I asked him that question, you'll remember, in my pregame interview. And he said, no, it didn't bother him. Ball strike, Keith. Tap to hold runners on. Guidry has grown so confident this year with his consistency of victory, which has been amazing, that he never even thinks really about a runner on base, which could be a handicap. But
and here we have a situation with a runner on second and nobody out. I'm sure Amos is going to try to hit the ball the right side and get the runner to third base. It'd be nice to have a 2-run lead on Ron Guidry in the first inning.
He shortened up on the last pitch. 1-1. He goes to the right side, but it's fouled in the crowd. Chambliss is giving him a lot of room on the right side. Piniella, the right fielder, well back in right field, and they give Otis left center and the left field line.
They have a habit here in New York. Every time he gets 2 strikes on somebody, I guess it's because he struck out 18 Angels early in the year to start plotting, because I guess they were expecting and anticipating a strikeout. So you will hear a crowd level go up when he gets 2 strikes on somebody.
A 1-2 pitch. He got it. That was a major league fastball right there.
And you'll just see him throw a fastball on the inside part of the plate, probably somewhere in the 90s. Amos was fooled, thought it was a ball.
well, the crowd here doesn't get too upset when the Yankees get behind a run or two, because they've grown accustomed to Yankee histrionics over this year and the past 3 years, including this year. The Yankees have shown an unfailing capacity to come from behind in the late innings.
Another hitter here, Al Cowens. The Royals desperately need more production from. He's 2 for 12 with a pair of singles, and he swings and misses for strike 1. George Brett led off with a triple at right center field, 390 feet off the top of the wall. McRae singled him home. Royals lead 1-0 with 1 out. Otis, having struck out McRae, is at second after having stolen second base. Cowens hits it in the air on the right side. Chambliss going back down the line, calls it, and makes the catch in fair ground. McRae has to hold at second. That's 2 out. The catcher, Darrell Porter, now, who's 4 for 11 in the playoff series.
Jim Palmer has emphasized to all of you viewers throughout his appearances with Keith and me that the first inning is the most difficult inning, always, for a pitcher. Ron Guidry is another Jim who proves the point.
Well, like I said, he got behind Brett and didn't lay the fastball in, probably threw it as well as he thought, but he probably wanted to throw a strike. And you got to give George some credit, because he hit it off the wall, and then he got ahead of Cal McRae and got a fastball in the middle of the plate. Probably really doesn't have his control down. He's made 2 good pitches to both Otis and to the other hitter, Al Cowens.
2 balls and no strikes now as he falls behind Porter. Porter standing almost parallel to the plate, wearing the glasses. Because of astigmatism and holding this particular kind of stance well open enables him to see the ball better. Pitch is well up. He's been up to Porter now 3 straight pitches. 2 out. McRae at second. Brett scored. 1-0 Kansas City. The unflappable Bob Lemon. Porter is aboard on 4 pitches.
He comes down every day from way up above. He's got a resonance in the clouds.
Whitey Herzog across the way. wearing the chewing gum out as John Wathan steps in. This is Wathan's first appearance in the American League Championship Series. He shared first base duties during the regular season with Pete Lecoq, but with the left-hander on the mound, Wathan, the right-handed batter, is inserted.
He's probably a hitter probably nobody in the United States has really heard about other than Kansas City, but he's a good hitter, a line drive hitter.
Runners go, pitch is foul at the plate. McRae was halfway down before Guidry had made his full move toward the plate.
Jim and I met McRae in the runway as he was arriving tonight in his civvies to go into the clubhouse, and Jim's last words to him were, "You're doing nothing. Get yourself a couple of hits."
He just told him to hit like he does off me, and he did the first time up.
Wathan fouls it again, banging off the umpire's chest protector, Bill Temple, and Guidry's on top, 2 strikes.
What makes Guidry so hard to hit is that Sparky Lyle taught him his slider, and Sparky has the best slider of any reliever I've seen. And when you put a 95-mile-per-hour fastball with a hard slider, you can't look for either pitch.
The roar starts from the crowd, and the 2-strike pitch. Hit to the right side, hit pretty well. Pinella fades back, goes to the track, and makes the catch, banging off the wall. And so Kansas City, in the top of the first inning, comes on top by a score of 1-0. Kansas City, the speedster, Willie Wilson, is in left field, the switch hitter. Over in center field for Kansas City, it is Amos Otis. He's been there throughout the season and this championship series. In right field, it is Al Cowens. Good arms in the outfield for Kansas City. Inside, it's George Brett at third base. Working at shortstop for the Royals, Freddie Patek. Frank White holds his position at second base. And the change is John Wathan at first base. One of 2 changes made tonight. Back of the plate, it is Darrell Porter. And on the mound, Dennis Leonard, who started for Kansas City on Tuesday in Kansas City. And he was the loser as he allowed 9 hits, 3 runs, struck out 2 in 4 innings of play as the Yankees won the ball game by a score of 7-1. Mickey Rivers 5-9, followed by Roy White, then Thurman Munson for New York. Bottom of the first inning with the Royals leading 1-0.
Mickey Rivers has in effect a hip pointer. He went out yesterday in favor of Paul Black after he had made what appeared to be a catch, but controversially was called a trap in the 3rd inning of the game.
Dennis Leonard, a hard-throwing right-hander with a record of 21-17 on the season, misses low for ball 1.
You had a hip pointer today in the Texas-Oklahoma game with a lad named King. Right.
That's right. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Those things do hurt.
Yes, they do. They're a painful and aggravating injury. Rivers is playing tonight after having taken an injection, Mr. Palmer.
George Brett is shortened at third, knowing full well that Mickey will put it down there.
Now explain the kind of injection a ball player gets.
I'm sure he probably got a cortisone shot, some derivative of cortisone, either Decadron along with xylocaine, which allows the shot not to hurt while you're getting it. And they usually take about 48 hours to work.
3 balls and 1 strike. And now here is Dennis Leonard getting behind Mickey Rivers at 3-1 with Roy White waiting. Munson will be the 3rd hitter, then Reggie Jackson batting cleanup as the designated hitter. Leonard has walked Mickey Rivers. If Rivers is not hurting too much, look out. Having him on first base is just like having fresh logs in the fire.
There you go. There you go. You're still in Dallas.
They probably won't run with Rivers until they get at least 1 out because they want to keep the hole open for Roy White, who's probably trying to pull the ball.
Mr. Dependable, Roy White.
And he has those capabilities.
4 for 12 against the Royals in the 1978 Championship Series.
Yesterday, Bob Lemon moved White up to bat 2nd, moved Thurman Munson to bat 3rd. That worked for him.
Mickey bluffs, doesn't go. White fouls it away.
In fact, it won the game for him because in the bottom of the 8th, White singled with 1 out. And then Munson hit that line drive that would not sink and went into the monuments deep in left center. Reggie Jackson called it the longest hit he had seen by a right-hander at Yankee Stadium.
I think he has a bad memory because Doug DeCinces, the day we beat Ron Guidry, hit one into the Yankee bullpen over the 430 sign. The ball had to go at least 460 feet. But I guess, you know, sometimes you do forget things.
Provincialism.
Of course.
But foul. 2 strikes now on Roy White. Dennis Leonard was born in Brooklyn, raised out on Long Island, now makes his home in Sarasota, Florida. The Yankee coaches, Gene Michael at first, Dick Hauser at third. Dick is leaving the Yankees at the end of the season, the postseason play, to become the baseball coach at Florida State University.
I asked him if he needed a pitching coach. He said it was behind Ellie Howard, who wanted to coach third.
That's foul at the plate. They've had some marvelous teams at Florida State, and a lot of major leaguers have passed through there. And
they're going to have them with Dick Hauser, I'll tell you that. There was a day last summer in the midst of the whole Steinbrenner, Martin imbroglio when Hauser was brought to Gabe Paul's apartment on a Saturday morning and actually turned down the job of managing the Yankees. He's a great baseball man.
2-strike pitch to Roy White. Rivers at first base. Nobody out. Royals lead 1-0. Yankees at bat, bottom of the first. 55 degrees as we started the game. It is an autumnal evening in New York City. Autumn in New York. Clear as we flew in just a short time ago. Sparkling. The pitch is low. 1-2. Herman Munson, the on-deck circle.
The club professional.
Still wants to go to Cleveland.
That's what he told me yesterday. Didn't affect his play. He also told me that it wouldn't.
Didn't. Curveball just inside. Dennis Leonard may be at the particular moment trying to pitch a little too fine now. He was 0-2 to White. He's now gone 2-2, just missing with the last 2 pitches. Rivers at first, edging off. Foul back. Count remains 2-2. At least Roy is serving here to help Dennis get warm.
You're right. I'm afraid that he doesn't really want to throw him a fastball on the inside part of the plate because of the fact he can pull it right by the first baseman. And a curveball is not a pitch you want to throw because a routine grounder is a single in the right field and probably a first and third situation. That's what happens when you walk the leadoff hitter.
You're an expert on that.
Done it many times.
The 2-2 pitch now. It is hit out to left center field. Otis is on the move. He calls off Williams and he makes the catch. Wilson rather. And Wilson awfully close to Otis too. He didn't give him all that much room.
Listen to the ovation for Munson as a result of his game-winning home run yesterday.
And I think the statistics tell the story. Anytime Thurman Munson only hits 6 home runs. Yankee Stadium's a hard park to hit home runs in for a right-handed hitter, but when he only has 6 home runs, you know that he has some injuries or has had them.
Now let's see if Mickey Rivers gets a green light. With 1 out, Munson hits it up the middle. Base hit, won't need it. Rivers not really turning it on as he coasts around second and holds. Otis playing the ball in short center. Now with 1 out, we've got Munson and Rivers on base with Jackson coming to the plate.
But this was the importance of Roy White's failure to advance Mickey Rivers because Munson's single would have scored it. Now the onus is on Reggie. But he's grown accustomed to that pace.
In 14 appearances at the plate, he's been on base 9 times, 6 hits, 3 walks, scored 5 runs. And let me give you a comparison. The combination of McRae, Cowens, Patek, and White together have been on base only 9 times for Kansas City. Long conversation between Darrell Porter and Dennis Leonard as Reggie Jackson prowls around at home plate waiting for him with 1 out and 2 aboard. Rivers at second, Munson at first.
Reggie commented before the game that they're really throwing him a lot of strikes. He's getting a lot of good pitches to hit.
Fouled away, strike 1.
First inning can be critical in a ball game. The Phils probably lost to the Dodgers today in the first inning. They had the bases filled and none out. And their very first turn at bat failed to score. Could have iced the game up early, but didn't.
Strike 2.
Good pitch. Sank.
I think this is a hard slider. It breaks down, or it's normally a pretty good pitch for Reggie to hit, but it just breaks underneath his bat. Dennis said he's swinging so well that he's going to either throw him a lot of changeups or a lot of curveballs. I guess he felt the right pitch then was a slider.
Ball bounces away from Porter. Doesn't know where it is. The runners move up. Wild pitch.
Here you see Leonard throw looks like a curveball. Throws it just behind home plate and makes a nice play because Porter doesn't know where the ball is, and if he doesn't get to the ball, Rivers is going to score all the way from second.
You're right. And if the viewers noticed, Reggie went halfway, held up on a swing just in time. Almost bit for the pitch, but had enough bat control not to go through with the swing.
Infield backs off now at 1 and 2. Again, low inside. This time, Porter able to block it.
Jim, it's curious. It seems to me he's trying to pitch Reggie low. Reggie is pronouncedly a low ball hitter.
Well, those are low breaking balls. I got the impression from Dennis that he does not want to throw Reggie fastballs. He just thinks Reggie's swinging too good. And then last year in the World Series, the 3 home runs, 2 of them were on fastballs. So they just feel that's the pitch he's hitting right now.
Lou Pinella's on deck as Jackson swings and misses and strikes out.
Got him on a low pitch again. Low breaking ball. And that's usually in Reggie's pocket. Watch it.
Well, this is a slider that he just almost the same position he threw the second strike. And Reggie just got fooled. Had a good swing. If that ball's up a little bit, it's probably hit hard.
Probably in Philadelphia. Lou Piniella now. 314 average on the year, 4 for 14. In the series with 2 out and 2 aboard. And the Royals leading 1-0. Leonard trying to work out of the jam. Greg Nettles has moved out to the on-deck circle. Left center is available to Piniella. Leonard outside with it for ball 1. There's the big hole in left center field. Amos Otis well over in right center.
What, he's not nervous?
Oh.
Not at all.
I was talking to him and I said maybe Guidry doesn't pitch well in cold weather, and he said yeah, he only was 14-1 before June.
Nonetheless, another good slider low by Dennis Leonard. Piniella swung and missed, and right now Dennis Leonard is throwing his stuff, and he's making it work.
Well, what makes the Yankees so tough is you got a guy that's hitting .314 at the plate now, and Lou Piniella, and on deck you have a guy named Greg Nettles who hit 27 home runs. You really can't pitch around anybody.
Playable. Frank White drifting back. Little pop back to second base in right center field. And the Yankees are gone. Turned away after a big threat. 1-0 Kansas City after 1. He's got a strike on White. White 1 for 10, a single so far in the championship series. 2 strikes. Give White left center field as well. Rivers over in right center. And the pitch bounces to the backstop. Overthrew it.
And that was your hard slider from Ron. He doesn't mess around. There's always a difference in philosophy whether when you get the count 0-2 you should waste a pitch. He usually comes right out. I think he had every intention of throwing that pitch for a strike.
White hits it sharply at Neville. Brett blocks it, throws. White, good speed. Got it. Is Patek as you take another look at Frank White's shot to Greg Nettles.
Tough bounce. Nettles fought the ball, had the body in front of it, and the great arm.
That's the key to playing third base. Saw it every day with Brooks Robinson. Didn't let the ball go over your shoulder. You got to get in front of the ball.
Patek with 1 hit in the series, a 2-run home run. And Guidry is low for ball 1. Program an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
TV New York.
1-1 as Guidry comes in with a strike.
Seems to me the key to this game is that the fast runners on Kansas City are going to have to get on, and obviously we're going to have a well-pitched game from Monday.
Well, that's exactly what Guidry told me. The job is to keep certain men off base. And he named Brett, McRae, and Patek. Keep them off base, you've got them. That's his philosophy for him as a pitcher. He couldn't do it with Brett, who tripled.
Pitch just low. It's 2-2. Leonard in the Kansas City dugout.
And Dennis Leonard is very much aware of that. I mean, he knows, and I know, when you go out there against a tough pitcher, you have to keep your club in the ball game.
Patek fouls it back. It's still 2-2. For the Kansas City players, this is a night and a game in which they must concentrate. The dugout is relatively quiet, particularly for those in the lineup. 2-2. Brett tripled. McRae singled him home. Only run in the game so far. Royals lead 1-0. Top of the second. Patek hits it high, hits it deep into center field. Mickey Rivers going way back, still going. Reaches and makes an over-the-shoulder catch at 400 feet.
You can see Mickey limping as he goes back to his normal position in center field. But there's no limping there. Marvelous play by Mickey Rivers. Off maligned during the season by his very own management.
And here you see Guidry, I think, throw a slider right in the middle of the plate. Freddie hits it probably as far as he could hit a ball.
Batter is Willie Wilson, another fellow you'd better keep off the bases. He has not shown us that he's that much of a hitter. If he had hit 250, he'd have been a regular, probably.
With his foot speed, that's true, Keith. He's the young man who barged into Thurman Munson. Net result, stitches under Munson's chin, added to all of his other problems.
Foul.
Tell you this, they're really hitting Guidry thus far. They really are, Jim.
Yes, but they only have 1 run. And that's the key. The key to pitching in Yankee Stadium, especially if you're left-handed, is to have them hit the ball to center field. And he has the ability to do that.
2-2 now to Willie Wilson.
You're right, he is struggling. I'm sure Wilson's in here for two reasons. Number one, if he does get on, he has the tremendous capabilities of stealing bases. He did steal 48, and he's a much better outfielder than Clint Hurdle.
Caught looking. Inning is over. After 1.5 innings of play in game number 4 for the American League pennant, Kansas City won, the Yankees nothing. Looking down on Yankee Stadium from a helicopter carrying an ABC camera sailing around, you can see how clear it is tonight. Really a sparkling evening.
And a beautiful ballpark of a vein with Royal Stadium, Dodger Stadium, one of the most beautiful baseball stadiums in America.
Greg Nettles, Chris Chambliss, Brian Doyle, the Yankee batters against Dennis Leonard here in the bottom of the second inning. Leonard in a jam at the bottom of the first, but he wiggled off the hook.
Nettles told me he feels strong, senses a big night tonight. Wouldn't say it openly, but thinks he's going to hit a home run.
That's foul. Curley. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Now it's going down where the sun's shining, nice and warm for the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals in the Orange Bowl.
I may be going on an all-night charter tomorrow night, like you coming back from Dallas today.
Could be. 1-1. That might be the one he was talking about.
See what I mean? Goodbye. It's nice to be able to tell you folks what's going to happen before it ever happens.
Here you see Leonard throw. It looks like a high curveball. And Greg Nettle hits it about 375, 80 feet. Otis makes a nice effort, but just can't get to the ball.
Just get that ball up to Nettles, and it's gone. The expert on that in the American League is my colleague on the occasion, Jim Palmer.
You're certainly right, Howard. Hate to be able to say that.
The batter now, as the roar begins to subside, Chris Chambliss with Brian Doyle with the on-deck circles. Chris missed only one game all this past season. The game that he missed was the first one that Bob Lemon served as manager. Jim Spencer played that particular game at first. Chris came back the next day, and he's been right there. A 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the second inning. Nobody out, and Chris fouls it back. Leonard put that hanging curve right in Nettles' wheelhouse. He couldn't have thrown him a better pitch to hit downtown. Inside and low, 1-1.
He's throwing a lot of breaking balls. And in my opinion, after seeing him pitch the last 3 or 4 years, for him to beat the Yankees, he's going to have to use his fastball because that's his best pitch.
That's foul. 1 ball, 2 strike count now on Chambliss. A pesky hitter, Brian Doyle, waiting on deck. Playing second base tonight. Chambliss is gone. 1 out.
Up comes Brian Doyle. Watch this. This is the same low. Is that the slider, Jim?
Yes, it looks like. Down and in, it's a ball, but it fools Chris.
Couldn't hold up on it. This little kid surprised everybody on Tuesday night past. Most had never heard of him. But if you talk with him, he'll show you confidence as he fouls one off. Forgive me, Keith. Because he says, I'm a contact hitter, and I'm a good contact hitter, and I know it, and I can hit anybody.
Well, he got his first run batted in that ball game.
For the year.
Well, for the year, that's right. His major league career.
He just looked at a pretty good pitch to hit.
I remember when Bobby Grich first came up, and the first guy he faced was Sam McDowell, who used to strike out 10, 11 a game. He said, what do I care? He has to throw it over the plate, doesn't he? Struck out 3 times that night.
Well, Dennis Leonard threw 3 over the plate, and Brian Dahl's gone. 2 out. Caught looking. Batter now is Bucky Dent for the Yankees. Battles home run, getting New York even. Dodgers beat the Phillies today for their 2nd successive National League Championship 4-3. Waiting for the winner of this one for the World Series. And Bucky Dent fouls it upstairs out of play.
Got an awfully big hand. I think they haven't forgotten that 3-run home run he hit in Boston on Monday.
Just misses. A look at a packed Yankee Stadium on a Saturday night. Little looper, Patek drifts back, makes the catch, inning is over. But it was Nettles the difference in the bottom of the 2nd inning. We've played 2 and the score now. Kansas City 1, the Yankees 1. Little looper. Watch Patek just drift very slowly back and make the catch. For Kansas City in the top of the 3rd inning. George Brett, 5 extra base hits, 3 homers, a triple and a double. That's a new American League Championship Series record, despite the fact it would seem apparent that Reggie Jackson owns every hitting record known to mankind in the month of October. It's not quite true. George had the triple and scored on McRae's single for Kansas City's run in the 1st inning. We're all even at 1-1, top of the 3rd. Hits it on the ground to Brian Doyle. 1 out.
That's a cheer of victory from the crowd. They don't see George Brett do that very often.
Al McRae, who had the RBI and the single at the plate now. That's fouled out of play. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of the game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. 1 strike pitch to McRae is down low. 1-1.
Slider.
That is Ron Guidry's pitch. And that's the Ron Guidry who's won 25 and lost 3. Right there.
Well, the slider's such a great pitch because you think it's a fastball.
Ball is loose at the plate. Munson will throw to first, and McRae is out. He struck out on the ball in the dirt.
Guidry's 3rd strikeout in 2 2/3 innings.
Now Amos Otis. Guidry's retired 6 in a row.
When they put you in that ambulance, was there any other reason?
Yes. Something called oxygen. A place to lie down.
Keith flew in from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, where he did Texas against Oklahoma this afternoon on a private jet. Landed at LaGuardia and rode here in an ambulance. There were those who thought it was another maternity case.
I was going to say there are times when I thought perhaps it might well have been, but I would be nice to say with it. Ball 1. It was an exciting trip. 2 out. Ball skips back, 2 balls and no strikes.
And you were telling me to take it easy, huh?
Yeah.
The former manager, the resident manager, Yogi, in an habitual situation on the phone.
I wonder if he sleeps with one. Every time I see him, he's got one.
He's taking reservations for his racquetball court.
Shot at third. Nettles handles it. Long throw. In time. Inning is over. 7 in a row for Guidry. And after 2.5 innings of play, the score. The Yankees won. The Royals won. Again, you can see the performance of Nettles as a defensive baseball player at third. Got a nice big hop on it, but the ball was really stung. It was hot when it came to him, but he had time, and he looped the long throw across to Chambliss at first base. And Chris is a big target at first base. It'll be the top of the order: Mickey Rivers, Roy White, and Thurman Munson. Dennis Leonard got in trouble. This is the way the Yankees have been tattooing Kansas City pitching, and you look at those numbers, and I think that's a fair word. They've been beating them solidly. With Rivers sitting there at a .556 batting average. Coming into the ball game tonight, he walked his first time. Hit it Frank White, the second baseman, and Mickey is gone. Realizing that he probably would be thrown out regardless of how much effort he put into the run to first base, he really didn't stretch it out. Remember, he has a hip pointer.
Good observation, Keith. Halfway down the line, he let up. Ordinarily, he wouldn't do that.
Roy White, who made Leonard work hard to get him on a fly ball to center field. Again, Leonard just misses ball one.
Well, he's throwing some heat now. The Empire State Building. A view from a helicopter. A live shot.
1-1 pitch to White. Good play by White. Frank White to throw out Roy White. 2 down. Made a play very comparable to this the other night in Kansas City.
Well, you'll see why he's one of the, along with Willie Randolph, one of the best defensive second basemen in the American League. He's really improved. He always had natural speed.
Mr. Munson, the captain, a single. His first time up. Darrell Porter tried to jerk that back in the strike zone.
Jim Palmer thought that should have been called a strike.
It looked like a pretty good pitch.
There's one. 1-1.
But Jim Palmer is a pitcher looking for breaks. There's the Regiroux.
I'm sure Dennis Leonard would like to get Thurman out. Reggie's the type of guy that you want to have leading off the inning.
Big bouncer to Brett. Got him in order in the bottom of the third. So we played 3 innings in this 4th game, and we're all even at 1 apiece. Now Cowens, Darrell Porter, John Wathan for Kansas City. Cowens out a month, June through July, with sprained ligament in his right knee, and tomorrow it's Ed Figueroa, Larry Gura, if necessary. By that we mean if the Yankees win tonight, it is over. They come into this game with a 2-1 edge in a best-of-5. The Dodgers have beaten the Phillies for the National League Championship. Cowens with a strike. Has not been a very successful year, at least not the kind of year that you would expect out of an Al Cowens. On the ground to Dent. Big bounce for Bucky. Now it's gone. 1 away. There's the man who would pitch tomorrow night for Kansas City if there is to be a game played.
Larry Gura. Clever pitcher. Uppercut, as we mentioned in an earlier telecast with split off. Rick Waits. Slow curve-balling left-hander, the kind who troubles the Yankees. And he did the other day until he faded in the 7th and had to be replaced. But he did his job and won his game.
The Kansas City catcher, Porter now. Darrell Porter. One out. And that's foul. Bounces up in the crowd. They could use a little long ball from Mr. Porter. He has not delivered for them in the series. He did during the regular season. And went far enough. It's 2 strikes.
Darrell in open disagreement, but as we look at it again, it's not going to help him. He tried to say didn't go around.
Hot shot to Chambliss. Guidry's there. Chris throws, not in time. And Porter, who has good quickness for a catcher, is down the line in a hurry for a base hit. Handcuff Chris. It was a shot. A low skidding bounce. Didn't quite come up as much as he had anticipated. And it went through him. So it was a hot shot, so it's a base hit. John Wathan. Who really is the #2 catcher.
Yes, he is. And this fellow is not popularly known for the talent he has. He is a good hitter. Jim Palmer will explain.
He's a Charlie Lau type of hitter. He hits the ball where it's pitched, doesn't have excellent power. He's not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but on the artificial turf surface like they have in Kansas City, he's a good hitter. He hits the ball hard, hits line drives.
Born and raised in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Mighty Herzog calls him a cornfield player. Put on the shoes and he'll play anywhere you ask him to.
Same as you.
Gotta have a little gizzard in this world. 1-1. Porter is not a threat to run. Wathan checks on it. They appeal it. Call it a strike. 1-2. Oh, yes.
No question. No question.
First base umpire Dave Phillips confirmed it. 1-2. Luke, that comes apart. Second baseman Doyle makes the catch. 2 out. That exploded. Guidry threw that ball right in on the handle and watch it come apart. "55-degree night." That might sting a little too.
What was it in Dallas, Keith?
It was middle 60s. Beautiful day. Saw the sun come up this morning in Dallas. Foul back here. An enormous crowd of people downtown last night roped off Commerce Street, and they had a party. Ooh, they had a party. Right in the heart of downtown.
You were the Grand Marshal.
No, sir. I was flopping around trying to get to I couldn't get there. All the streets were closed. 1 strike to Frank White. Fouled off. Strike 2. Freddie Patek is waiting on deck. You've got 2 out. Darrell Porter at first base. It's a 1-1 ball game. Kansas City at bat, top of the 4th inning. Yankees win. It's over. Pitch is hot. You can see, I think, how the temperament of the Kansas City Ball Club has leveled out. Now, on the first game on Tuesday night, they were swinging at those kind of pitches. Punch to the right side, base hit. Porter will take the turn at second. He's going to third. Finella's throw is cut off. Runners up the corner with 2 out for Freddie Patek.
You watch a man do that, go to right field so expertly. You know he's arrived as a baseball player.
Well, that's what Frank White does best. He doesn't have a whole lot of power. He's always been a line drive hitter, and I think since he came to Kansas City, Charlie Lau's worked with him a lot, and that's what he wants him to do. When the ball's out over the plate, you hit it where it's pitched, and that was a high slider. He got on top of it, which is the important thing to do. And there's always a hole between first and second when there's a runner being held on. You've got to take advantage of that to be a good hitter.
Meanwhile, Guidry is still, quite frankly, struggling. Despite the roars of the crowd and 3 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings, he's given up 4 hits, 1 run, and is in trouble now with 2 men on base and 2 out in the 4th.
Patek hits it foul to the right side in the crowd. And Frank White will go back. Remember, his first time up tonight, Patek hit the ball at least 400 feet. Maybe a little more than that to center field. Rivers made the catch.
You see that grin just crease his face?
Yes.
Happy about something.
Might be called a needle from Therma. Inside. One ball, 1 strike to Patek. You have Darrell Porter at third. You have Frank White at first. 2 out.
As we talked about in the first game, this is another opportunity. Kansas City's going to win. They cannot squander it.
Foul tip. And it's 1-2. And they are giving Patek left center field.
Look at those figures. That graph. What a record.
It's unbelievable.
Lifted to the right side and sailing out of play. So Freddie's still alive at 1-2.
Do you get the feeling, Jim, that Guidry perhaps is challenging the hitters too much, just throwing with power and laying it too much in there?
Well, not really. That's the way he pitches. The problems he's had tonight are from hanging his slider. That's what Patek hit 400 feet to center field. That's what Wright hit the right field. He's got a good fastball. He's just not spotting his breaking ball very well.
Struck him out. Kansas City strands 2. In the top of the 4th, it's a 1-1 ball game. For the Yankees, Reggie Jackson, Lou Piniella, Greg Nettles. In the bottom of the 4th inning.
This is really the first good playoff or championship series Reggie's ever had, isn't it? Didn't do much last year or the year before. Just waited for the series.
Waited for the series. There's a strike.
The year before, he was in the booth with Keith and me.
That's right.
No, he didn't have a very good series.
Just misses for that. Leonard's one of his out pitches. As you see Reggie's American League Championship Series statistics going all the way back to 1971 with the Oakland A's. That's fouled out of play. Leonard has been using the slider, and there are times when he's got things going just right. He considers it his out pitch, and he came upon it about the middle of 1977. When Marty Patton informed him that he threw it by applying pressure off his middle finger. The Yankee pitcher Guidry in the dugout. So down in the minors, Dennis Leonard had some different ideas. Was using the wrong finger to apply the pressure. Suddenly he started working on it in the bullpen in his workouts, and he eventually had the thing under control. It's 1-2 now on Reggie Jackson.
And you were seeing the way Dennis Leonard should pitch Reggie. He's throwing him hard fastballs and making him hit the ball out towards left field. Got a lot of room out there here.
Another foul.
Dennis mentioned he might throw some changeups to Reggie because he's swinging the bat so well on the fastball, but in a 1-1 game, that's probably his 4th best pitch. So I doubt if he's going to try to make a mistake with it.
Keep throwing that row to Reggie. Sooner or later, you'll get dynamited.
Struck him out.
That's better for Dennis Leonard.
He just burned it.
Well, it's a high fastball. It ends up out of the strike zone, but like Dennis said, he didn't have that extra zip. Watch that ball go up. Any hitter has trouble hitting a pitch like that.
Back in Howard's day, they called that the riser.
back in Howard's day.
When Dick Merriwell was pitching to Brad Buckhoff.
Howard's hit .313 for the year. That bit Bill Kunkel, the plate umpire, on the right shoulder. One out, nobody on. Tempo slowed just slightly here. The crowd is quiet. Vanilla swings through it, and it's 2 strikes.
Leonard is throwing a vastly different game from last Tuesday night. He looks hot.
Well, looks like he's got a good fastball.
That's pop foul again upstairs out of play.
Dennis Leonard is a power pitcher. He got off to a bad start this year, but in his previous 2 years, he had over 200 strikeouts each year.
He's got 4 strikeouts now, as many as Guidry.
Gets Manella on a breaking pitch that snapped away from the strike zone. A good slider, and Lou's gone. He struck out Jackson swinging and Manella swinging. Now it's Nettles who took him out with a home run.
Make it 5.
Nettles hit a high curveball last time, and it's funny, in 1970, I was going for my 21st win. I had 2 men on, a 4-1 lead, and I said, what is the pitch Greg Nettles cannot hit it out of the park? And it came to me as a curveball. I threw a curveball at a 3-run home run, and Earl Weaver came out and got me. So what often you think is the right pitch to throw, and I'm sure Leonard thought that last time, turns out to be the wrong one.
Strike 2.
You can see now he's trying to throw fastballs away, and you'll see the catcher, once it doesn't move as much as Porter. When Porter wants to pitch on the outside part of the plate, he'll actually move his whole body out there.
Just like that. He just did. And it's punch foul to the left side.
Leonard has the look of a hot pitcher right now.
Well, he better, because Guidry's going to give him a strong game, and that's what it's going to take. As we said before, Dennis Leonard knew when he went out there that he's not going to probably get a whole lot of runs, and he's going to have to pitch one of his best pitch games of the year.
It's low.
There's Thurman, the other catcher.
The other. Don't think he'd like that. Wouldn't bother him.
Only last Saturday did he stop having headaches from the beating he had taken a week early. Months, I mean.
1-2 pitch to Nettles. Struck him out.
Struck out the side.
Kansas City, 1 run, 4 hits and no errors. New York, 1 run, 2 hits and no errors. 4 innings have been played. Worked for the 2 pitchers in tonight's ball game. And so far as hits are concerned, the edge is to Leonard. Strikeouts, the edge is to Leonard. Willie Wilson struck out looking his first time against Ron Guidry. Then we will have George Brett and Hal McRae. Wilson started in left field, stayed there till around the 1st of June. Then the platooning started between Poquet and Zeb, and Wilson came out because he was hitting only .229. The season ended for Kansas City with Steve Vaughn playing left field much of the time. 2 strikes now on Wilson. Well, look at here. Single to right center field. Now there is speed on the bases right there.
Here you'll see an 0-2 pitch by Ron, and like I said, he goes right after. This ball is a little bit on the inside half. Wilson hits it up the middle. Nobody's playing there, and this man can run.
Wilson made 41 successful steals of second, caught 10 times, made 5 successful steals of third, caught 2 times.
Howard, I saw him steal some bases standing up. I mean, the catchers just didn't have a chance. And the thing about this is that as long as he's at first throughout the whole inning, you're going to have Guidry thinking about the runner.
That's right.
And it just puts constant pressure on you.
How do you rate Guidry's move, Jim?
Just average. I pitched with 2 guys, McGregor and Flanagan, that have excellent moves. You don't steal on them.
You don't want to let a 217 hitter get on, but
There goes Wilson. Brett hits it to the right side. No play at second. They get George at first for the second time on a roller to the second baseman.
Designated hitter.
Al McRae now, who has knocked in Kansas City's only run.
And that's heads-up defense for the Yankees, because if on a hit and run, if the shortstop covers, or if the second baseman covers and that ground ball goes to right, you have a first and third situation.
Right. That's exactly right.
Where if he singles the left field, it's still usually runners in first and second if the left fielder makes a nice play.
Low and away to McRae.
thing about Guidry is, Jim, he keeps you.
There goes Wilson. The pitch is low. The throw. Got him. Joe Killer argues the case. It was close. Whitey Herzog comes out of the dugout in a hurry.
It was still a good effort. Still a good play in my book, Jim.
Well, Thurman makes a great, it's a slider in the dirt. He makes a great throw. I don't know if he's safe or out. Looks safe to me. From that angle.
Well, Al Rosen, the Yankee club president in the next booth, was screaming he's out. It depends on where you sit, I guess, and whom you're affiliated with. But it was a good play. The thing I was saying about Guidry is, even when he's not sharp, he keeps you in the game, Jim.
Well, he's got a good ball club, and he doesn't walk that many guys, which is important.
McRae hits it out into right center field. Lou Piniella coming over, makes the catch, and the inning is over. And so we roll right along at the halfway point after 4.5 innings of play. The score, 1-1. As the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Phillies 4-3 to win the National League pennant. Terry Forster got the win in relief, beating Tug McGraw also in relief, and the Dodgers won the series in the National League 3-1. Get out of here. Chris Chambliss, Brian Doyle, and Bucky Dent, scheduled hitters for New York to face Dennis Leonard. He has struck out 6 Yankees, and 5 of the 6 strikeouts have been swinging. He struck out the side in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chambliss struck out swinging his first time up. It's a towering fly ball to the right side. That is out of play. Outside, 1-1. Brett, the third baseman. 1 out. Now it's become sort of a waiting game.
It really has. The question is, which pitcher will break? Guidry, to me, Jim, and I'm not a pitcher in your league, and you're a great one, still appears to be struggling.
Well, he's having his problems, but like I said, he's not walking guys. When he is, they are hitting the ball hard. They're hitting it to center field, which is the thing you want to do here. And Leonard, it looks like he's got his feet on the ground pretty good. He's moving his fastball around. Looks like he's throwing hard. He threw a high curveball to Chambliss, but that's what, when you throw a breaking ball, you're trying to upset the hitter's timing, and he did that, and he chopped at it and hit it to Brett at third.
Brian Doyle with a count of 1-1, the Yankee second baseman, since Greg Nettles hit the home run back in the 2nd inning. Dennis Leonard's retired 10 in a row.
Excuse me, Howard. The one thing that concerns me, though, is that in this ballpark, Nettles' ball, I mean, Guidry has an advantage because if the Yankees have more left-handed hitters, and Nettles' fly ball would have been just a fly ball in left field. It's a home run because it's hit to right. And
oh, look what I found! Catch for the pitcher, Dennis Leonard. Count your fingers, Dennis.
looked like self-defense.
Well, we told you Brian Doyle was a contact hitter, and he certainly made contact there. Look.
Self-defense. Most important thing for a pitcher to do is to get out of the way, and then you try to catch the ball.
There's Figgy, Ed Figueroa. What a failing start on Wednesday. But if a game is needed tomorrow, a 5th game, that's the guy who'll be probably starting. Beatty a possibility, but probably Figgy. And 2 years ago, it was Figgy who started the 5th game. Did well up to a point. That was the game that Brett tied with a 3-run homer, and Chandler won the bottom of the 9th with a homer.
Buccadet checks and takes. They check at first base, and Dave Phillips says no. Ball 1.
That was really a delayed call, though.
Shot foul. Well, there have been some hot shots hitting the crowd tonight. Some sore heads at the breakfast table in the morning.
Dennis, you can see, has had decent career success against Leonard.
Fouled out of play. I'll tell you this is a crowd that makes itself heard and enjoys its baseball. But that bunch today at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, that was the loudest crowd I've seen this whole year doing anything. High pop up to the infield as Watson settles under it, and Bucky is gone. And so Dennis Leonard continues with a very solid performance, and the score remains tied 1-1. Back to 4 after this word from our local station. The Vince Dooley's Bulldogs are coming along. For Kansas City, it's Amos Otis, Al Cowens, and Darrell Porter. And he was in Dallas. I don't know how he got to New York. Rocking and rolling. Drag racer out of the Pacific Northwest who's spending all of his walking around money traveling to sports events with that funny looking hairdo. Taking his time, letting Guidry stand out there, and once he's in, Guidry comes right to it on the inside corner for a strike. I wonder if Mr. Hairdo was that funny sound we heard in the back of the plane coming home. Maybe he hitched a ride.
Amos didn't like that call.
And there was a hot one thrown in the inside. It had to be right in among the letters. It was up. Cowens on deck. Porter to follow. That's a high fastball. 1-2 is the count. Folks, I want to tell you, Jim Palmer is a picture of neatness and appearance, decorum, and pitching finesse on the mound, but you ought to see a scorecard. Foul.
He got wood on that, just swung out in front of him. Jim Palmer also bought some new shirts today. Long overdue.
Thanks, Howard. Looks like Guidry's trying to run the ball in on Amos, and he just swatted off and got out in front. They have a tendency to swing a little bit quick off run, because otherwise you're not going to hit the ball.
1-2 pitch. High fly ball into medium center field for Mickey Rivers. 1 out.
Well, he got ahead of Otis. He pitched exactly the way Jim Palmer recommends. Get ahead of the hitter, you got the battle half won.
Well, the hitter can't really guess then. He just got to look for the ball. And with Guidry's slider the way it is and his fastball jumping, especially when he throws it out of the strike zone and he'll chase it, which Otis did, he's a tough pitcher to handle.
Time called. As Al stepped out on Guidry. That looks like it may be a tactic of Kansas City for the moment to make him wait. Otis took a long time. Cowens fouls it off. Concentration, composure. I reckon you'd say that man has both. Though the rather placid nature that he presents right now was not always the case when he was standing out on the mound. That's foul. He was a tough, competitive pitcher.
And he got upset? He got upset out there?
Covered it well, but he was just a tough pitcher. He'd stand you on your head. He got the crowd in a little bit.
Guidry just pitched Cowens outside. The Yankee book is pitch him high and jam him high inside. What do you think, Jim?
Well, he used to hit the ball away. Last year, of course, they said that most of the home runs he hit, which were 23, were on balls in. And there you'll see he went right up and in on him. I talked to the Kansas City hitters, and I said, you know, how do you hit Guidry? And they said, not very well. And I said, what do you look for? He said, we just look for the ball. I said, do you think that he really has good control? And they said, no, we just think he throws the ball as hard as he can, and he throws that hard slider. But it looks to me tonight, when Munson puts the ball inside, his glove inside, he'll get the ball in that area.
Two-strike pitch to Cowens, and it's foul.
Well, the way the Kansas City players describe him, you'd think they were talking about chopped liver. This is a guy who won 25 and lost 3. There's a smiling Catfish and a smiling Willie Randolph, who now thinks he'll be able to play in the World Series if the Yankees can get there.
And you'll see how Munson moves around. Ahead of Cowens, he's going to try to make a perfect pitch.
He didn't have to. Cowens went for an obvious low ball.
And here you see a slider. He thinks it's going to be up higher. And when you have a hard slider, it's hard for the hitter to lay off that pitch.
Louisiana Lightning.
That's the other name. You called him the Little Cajun. Keith, that's the other name he has around here, Louisiana Lightning.
No, not Louisiana. Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Okay. That's the way he pronounces it.
Baltimore. Baltimore.
2 out. And Darrell Porter is up there. This program a presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
WABC TV New York.
2 balls and no strikes now to the Kansas City catcher with 2 out and nobody aboard in a 1-1 ball game. Royal scored on top of the first inning on Brett's triple. That's a strike. 2 and 1. McRae singled him home, and then Greg Nettles home for New York in the bottom of the second. That's where we are at 1-1.
And you saw there why Ron Guidry is so successful. He throws hard. He got 2-0 on Darrell Porter's and threw him a hard slider. And when a pitcher can throw a breaking ball like this, watch this slider break. Porter's fooled. He thinks it's a fastball, goes around regardless of what he says. And that's what makes Guidry so successful.
Regardless of what he said. That's the way, Jimmy.
High fly ball to left field. Roy White there in plenty of time to make the catch. So the inning is over. And in the middle of the 6th inning, the score continues 1-1. There's the George Washington Bridge shining in the darkness of night. And this October evening, as our helicopter carrying an ABC camera continues to fly across New York City. And looking down into the Bronx, there's Yankee Stadium and the top of the Yankee batting order. Standing at the plate for Dennis Leonard. He is now retired 12 in order. Roy White will follow, and then Thurman Munson. A 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 6th inning. High pop left side. Brett going back. Patek coming over. Wind brings it back in, and George Brett flags it down. It looked like it was going to go in the crowd, but apparently there's enough wind to hold it, and it was Brett that grabbed it.
The wind is blowing to right, and the ball does come back. Both of them overrun it, but George, being the athlete he does, makes a nice play.
Leonard is pitching a very fine ball game. Remember, he won 21. Remember, too, he lost 17.
White hits it deep to right. Way back. It is gone.
And that's what I was about to say. In a close game, Leonard's history is to make a bad pitch, walk a man, or throw a wild pitch. And that's how he got got 17 defeats.
Well, here you see the pitch. Roy White is a low fastball hitter from the left-hand side. Ball's in the middle of the plate. He's got a quick bat. Sure, he went up there looking for the fastball.
Roy White a year ago, and even the year before that, his lips tight, jaw set, went home, wanting to go play his baseball somewhere else. He was a terribly unhappy young man. But now, as the fortunes of baseball ebb and flow, it well may be that Roy White could be a hero for 1978 as the Yankees go on top 2-1 over the third hit. Only the third hit off limits.
Crowd wants him to come out. Acknowledge the applause. The crowd better understand that this game is not over yet.
But they also, Howard, remember that this is the senior member of this playing roster. He's been here a long time.
And as I said, they traded him to Oakland. But he's 10 years in the big leagues, 5 with one team, and under the 10-5 rule, he vetoed the trade. Management didn't like it, which you can understand. But he said it wasn't good for Roy White, and I wouldn't accept it. He told me the other day he doesn't feel he's been used to his uttermost. He'd still like to be traded for that reason, but to a team of his choice. Not easy to do that either.
So it's 2-1 New York as Munson stands in with Jackson on deck. High pop. Freddie Patek backing up. Wilson coming in, but Freddie wants it and has it. 2 out.
Like you said, Howard, the game is not over. And one of the hardest things for any pitcher to do is when he gives up a home run and he drops behind, is to keep his concentration and make good pitches. That pitch right there was a high slider. Thurman Munson could have done exactly what he did yesterday with that pitch.
That's right. I was going to say he got away with that pitch. He really did. And now he's got Reggie.
Well, Dennis Leonard is obviously a little hot after that home run, and he clearly reflects that from the mound.
Well, you can't imagine the feeling when you're out there and you give up a home run that puts you behind. It's even worse than obviously in the 9th inning, or it's a pitch that beats you in a ball game. But he's been pitching long enough where I think he's going to come back and pitch a good game.
A strike on Reggie. 2 out. 2 strikes on Jackson. On the outside corner, that fastball just bit it. He's handled Reggie so far. He struck him out twice.
In marked contrast to Tuesday night.
Little soft roller. And it's foul ball. Just given New York the lead, 2-1. The first run came from Greg Nettles. What runs have been scored have been the result of long balls. Triple by Brett got Kansas City its run in the first inning. Pitch inside. One and 2. White's home run was the first ball to get out of the infield area since Nettles had hit his home run back in the second off Leonard. That's foul. And for the second time tonight, Bill Kunkel absorbs a foul ball at the plate.
That's Roy White right there. Mr. Dependable.
Lupinella waiting to hit, hoping to get a chance here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Leonard nods okay. 1 and 1-2. Just outside. 2-2. A little brisk. Started at game time, 55 degrees. 3 times in a row, Dennis Leonard has struck out Reggie Jackson. So the Yankees are retired, but it is the home run by Roy White that's the difference of the ball game now, as the Yankees take the lead after 6, 2-1.
Saddle River, New Jersey. That's the home of Roy White, Keith. That's why that sign. And there he is.
He is a genuinely nice man. All right.
You know who else lives in Saddle River? The diminutive director from Columbia, which at the moment is losing the pen. Our director, Chet Forty. That was a call ball.
John Wathan, Frank White, Freddie Patek, the scheduled hitters for Kansas City against Ron Guidry. That ball is hit up in the air into short right center field for Mickey Rivers. Up, Paul Blair. Blair has replaced Rivers in center field.
Paul was taking batting practice tonight, Jim, your old teammate. He says if the manager will put me in early enough, I'll show you line drives like you've never seen before. Whereupon, in batting practice, he shot 2 straight to right center.
In the top of the 7th inning, 1 out, Frank White at the plate. White has grounded to third and singled. Yankees on top 2-1. 2 home runs have done it for them. That might drop. Blair coming. Can't get it. And White's on with his second single. Freddie Patek hit a 410-foot fly ball to center field that Rivers ran down, caught, and struck out swinging.
So Guidry in 6 1/3 innings has given up 6 hits, has struck out 5, which is good pitching, but when you see a guy win 25 and lose 3, foul strike, and see him strike out on an average of 9 to 10 men per game, you know he's not really that sharp tonight. Such is his greatness, Jim, that he's kept the Yankees in the ball game and now ahead.
You're right, but I don't think he's ever pitched 273 innings before in a season, so I'm sure he could feel a little bit tired.
White goes. Patek lands it to Greg Nettles. Lobs it across to Chambliss, and the inning is over. Ball was hit on the nose, but Frank White was a dead duck at second base. So, middle of the 7th, 2-1 New York. Game. Only 2 hits for New York, but those 2 hits were home runs by Nettles and Roy White. And though the New York Yankees have their only 3, they have served them better than the 6 that Kansas City has claimed. So here we are with Lou Piniella rolling one toward the shortstop Patek, and Freddie throws him out. The home runs, 5 by the Yankees and 4 by the Royals, ties the American League Championship record of 9 set by the Twins and the Orioles back in 1970. And that ball with a little tricky bounce could very well have gotten away from Freddie, but sure-handed he made the play.
He goes to his left very well.
You have to if you're going to play an artificial turf. You got to go both ways, and he has a strong arm.
Nettles is up. Strike 1. Incidentally, that home run by Roy White's the first one he's ever hit in postseason play. I like his time.
Baseball's a funny game. Leonard's made 2 mistakes, both of them been hit out of the park. Oftentimes when you're on the mound, you wonder why those balls couldn't be just hit for line drives. There's only a difference of about a 1/4 of an inch between a line drive and a home run.
Hit him on the hand, packed up back of the plate, Porter coming. Can't get it.
Baseball is a funny game. Joe Garagiola wrote a book by that name. Good book, too.
Well, George Brett goes back to his position at third. George will come all the way in. That ball was way up in the air, and he'd come right into literally be in handshaking reach of the catcher, Porter. But it was just beyond their gloves. That pitch inside, bouncing around 1-2.
Said he felt strong. We call the first home run. Maybe he feels strong enough to hit two, Jim.
Well, if he throws another high slider like that, he might have a chance to do that. Unless you stand on the mound and pitch to a guy like Nettles, you don't realize what a good hitter he is. He's a pull hitter. He's hitting in a park that is built for a pull hitter. John Blanchard, he used to hit one every Saturday and Sunday for the Yankees back in the 60s.
61. That was Blanchard. The year Maris hit 61, Blanchard was, hot pursuit of Maris and men.
Nettles is, Gabe Paul made a great trade when he got Greg Nettles.
Just outside, 2-2. Idea of how effective Leonard has been. He's retired 18 of the last 20.
He's pitched a fine game.
Pretty close. 3-2.
Tough pitch to take. Nettles did, and he was right.
It's a sign of a good hitter. When he's hot, he gets the bat head out. But I think the longer I pitch, I realize you're at the mercy of how well your ball club feels and hits.
Wow. Spoiled that one, which was tailing away from him. Sometimes he'll go with the pitch.
I think with 2 strikes, he'll go the other way. But until then, he's trying to hit the ball into the right field seats here. And he will occasionally hit a ball right down the left field line if you're throwing good. And Leonard's been making some good pitches. Like you said, he spoiled them.
Wow. Greg just about came out of his shoes trying to get that one, too.
That was another high slider. And you'll see the ball just kind of break a little bit, kind of hang up there, right in the middle of the plate.
Dennis happy to get that one back. 3-2. That's foul back, and Porter has a look. I don't think he'll have a chance. He's well back. Penn State in the fourth quarter beating Kentucky 30-0. It's now a final score, and Arkansas at the half over TCU 28-3. So the Hogs are rolling along.
And Razorbacks, my old friend Lou Holtz. He's got a line for every situation. Works in college, but not in the pro.
He's got a book just came out, Holtz Quotes. He's learning the art of merchandising. Foul, straight back. Of course, maybe he's known it for some time after his work at NC State and then at Arkansas. The only blink in his career would have been here with the Jets. One out, nobody on, and a 3-2 pitch coming now to Greg Nettles. Up the middle it goes, base hit.
Leonard worked on Nettles for a long time. Now watch how high this pitch is. It's what Nettles was looking for.
It's a rising fastball, and he just kept going up with it.
Well, like I said, he's swinging awfully good, and he smiled. After about the third or fourth foul ball, I think he probably said something to Darryl Porter about how good he's swinging.
Yeah,
I think he
but
realized
that fastball up in Nettles' eyes, that after that mistake that he got away with, the Chambliss swings and misses on the slider inside. There is activity in the Kansas City bullpen. Guarantee you Galen Cisco and Whitey Herzog didn't like seeing that ball up in Nettles' eyes.
Galen Cisco, of course, as you look at Robosky, his pitching coach for the Royals, a former original Met, Mr. Cisco.
Inside to Chris. Right-hander is Marty Patton for Kansas City.
Dennis still has heat on the ball, I'll tell you that.
Oh, he's throwing good. And I mean, he's still in the ballgame. He just cannot afford to make a mistake on the inside half of the plate here.
Holding Nettles at first. 2-1 Yankees. Now with 4 hits on that single by Greg Nettles. Home runs from Nettles and from White. Two and one.
Throwing a lot of pitches this inning, Jim. A lot of pitches.
And a lot of them up.
He realizes that he can't give up any more runs.
Pitches thrown thus far by Dennis Leonard. So the figure isn't as high as I thought it might be.
Nettles back. There's been no movement in the Yankee bullpen at all tonight so far. But I would not be surprised to see in this next inning if Ron Guidry has any trouble at all. Gossage up.
How many pitches do you average in a game, Jim?
I would say most of my games are 125, 130.
2-1 to Chambliss. Strike ball, 2-2.
Oh, that was a good pitch. Good pitch.
Oh, fastball away. Keeps throwing to first. Nettles only stole 1 base this year, and I doubt that they want to take that hole away from Chambliss.
Is out. Strikeout for Leonard.
He got it past him.
The second baseman.
Robosky, the left-hander, Patton, the right-hander for Kansas City. Warming up.
Leonard now has 8 strikeouts.
Ron Doyle, the hitter for the Yankees, with 2 out, and Nettles at first base. A little bit for the number of throws, and that particular one, a lob to first. Ball 1. Been a quiet game in contrast to that uproarious thing we had here yesterday.
That's true, but the growing tension because of the game's significance and the lateness of the innings now.
I mean, Kansas City would, I think, love to get Guidry in trouble because I think they have some confidence against Gossage. He came in and got the win yesterday, but did not pitch well. They can boo him as much as they want, but he's doing the right thing. Nettles, like I said, doesn't steal much, but you want to make him stop. You don't want to get another run to second base.
Just outside, 2-1.
But on the other hand, you don't want to let it affect you that you ruined your control of home plate. It's not a bad time to send Nettles. You maybe gamble and take a shot at getting a run, getting him to second base. Because Doyle is a contact hitter, does hit the ball.
0-3. That pitch was up.
Well, maybe it's divided his concentration on young Doyle, who is not a good hitter, but a decent contact hitter, as we said.
Well, he's not the kind of guy you want to walk to get the Bucky down.
No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
There's a strike. It's full 3-2.
And here you ran a count to 3-2. You're in a situation where the runner is now going to be running. He will probably score on a double, where before, if the count isn't 3-2, doesn't go full, he won't be running and doesn't have a chance to score unless it's a long double.
Nettles goes at 3-2 and the pitch is foul back.
See the kid make contact? Spoiled that. He was afraid it would be a strike.
Which it wasn't, but
I know.
you can't do that a lot. I mean, Dennis Leonard is still throwing the ball hard, and you got to be aggressive at the plate.
3-2, Nettles running, foul back.
They're really making Leonard work this inning. That plus his constant throws to first.
Well, in the game, Dennis has walked only one man, and that was the leadoff man, Mickey Rivers, for New York. Struck out 8, given 4 hits, including 2 home runs. Guidry, however, and the Yankees have the edge 2-1. Greg goes again, pitches inside, his second walk of the ball game. Bucky Dent now hitless tonight on a liner to the shortstop. And a mop up to the first baseman. Marty Patton, right-hander. Al Roboski, left-hander, are now warm in the Kansas City bullpen. 2 on and 2 out. Pitch is outside. The Dent, ball 1.
That was Leonard's 100th pitch of the game.
It brings Galen Cisco out of the dugout. The Kansas City pitching coach. As I said, Patton, the right-hander, Roboski, the left-hander, are warm in the Kansas City pen. Reasons, and Galen Cisco is going back, I suppose, might rest in the simple history of the Kansas City bullpen. Game number 1, Mengor and Roboski gave up 3 runs. Game number 2, Patton was touched for 2 runs. And game number 3, Bird was touched for 2 runs, including Thurman Munson's home run.
It makes your decision easy.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes, that bullpen is the weakest aspect of the Kansas City team.
They got a tough hitter up there because Bucky makes contact.
That's popped back in the crowd, out of play.
I thought we covered that rather fully in the very first pregame show we did, Jim.
Well, he's a battleship. Like we said, he's, you know, not the greatest fielding shortstop, makes all the routine plays, but they're playing him around the right center fairly deep, and he doesn't have that much power, even though he can't hit high fly balls to left in Fenway Park.
I think is playable. It is. Darrell Porter makes the catch, and the inning is over. So Kansas City down by a score of 2-1 with only 2 chances left in game 4. If Kansas City comes back to win this game and forces a 5th game, those are the pitchers that are scheduled for tomorrow night. But you never know. Bob Lemon, being Bob Lemon, might very well go with that youngster Beatty, who pitched so well the other night. Though Figueroa is the considered starter at the moment.
Gossage in the Yankee bullpen. Work.
And Guidry is low for ball one to Willie Wilson. Then it'll be George Brett, followed by Hal McRae, and there's the goose. 1-1 to Wilson. Boy, what tools he has if they ever teach him to hit. Or he figures it out himself.
Keith, I think it's documented you can't teach a man to hit. You can teach him certain skills if he's got the natural hitting ability. You can teach him to hit directionally. Is that right, Jim?
I would say so, Howard. It's a lot easier to teach. Well, it's a lot easier to teach somebody how to pitch than it is to hit.
Why is that?
Because it's just harder to hit than it is to pitch. To go 3 for 10. Oh, yeah.
Is that why you became a pitcher?
Yeah, I almost signed as an outfielder. I had as many offers out of high school to sign as an outfielder.
2-2 pitch, checks, takes, gone. Struck out for Guidry.
Now you'll see a hard slider and watch the ball break down. Wilson's fooled and goes around.
Batter is Brett. Triple to lead the game. Scored Kansas City's only run. Next 2 times he's rolled out with second baseman Brian Doyle. Ball 1 low.
This man is all pride and all talent. He's one of the best players in baseball, George Brett.
There's a strike.
Guidry is really trying to pour it on now, Jim.
Well, I'm sure he's trying to keep the ball away. You don't want him pulling the ball here.
Ball 2, just low.
Munson didn't turn around to argue, but it was clear that he thought that should have been called a strike. We didn't get a glimpse of Guidry's face.
2-2. George comes back. I'll bet you to ask if the ball was in the strike zone. Crowd roaring now for the strikeout.
This is what Freddie Pompey was talking about. When you're out on the mound and you got people standing before, when you get 2 strikes on every hitter, it really gets you pumped up.
Hal McRae up.
7 strikeouts now for Ron Guidry. George Brett said before the game he is not God. Of course he is not. What he is, on the record, is the best pitcher in baseball.
Great play by Greg Nettles.
What a game Greg Nettles is having. Greg Nettles, apart from Ron Guidry, up to this point, the clear hero of this ball game. We'll have more on him when we come back live to Yankee Stadium for the 9th inning.
Another look at the catch that ended the inning for the Yankees. Watch the movement of Greg Nettles at third base.
And he's playing exactly where he was. This is what wins ball games. When you have a 1-run lead, you play the line. Make him hit it to your left for a single instead of giving him the double.
There he is, all fired up. Told us he was strong tonight. Thought he'd hit a home run. Wouldn't say it openly. He did.
Paul Blair hits it to Freddie Potter. Throws it high. Tags him, got him.
Slide under, he could have been safe.
Ball sails. Patek comes in, has a good set on the ball. And the ball took off. Watson goes well up to get it. And flags flared just before he hits the bag.
Good play by Walker.
Roy White. Strike one.
The crowd chanted throughout the commercial break between the half innings for Roy Nettles to come out, which he did not do. Greg Nettles. Roy Nettles.
You're thinking about his home run.
Yeah.
Which put him ahead, of course.
Dennis Leonard has pitched a 4-hitter, but he's behind 2-1. Outside again for Roy White. 2-1 the count. Nettles and White home runs for the difference.
You talked about Nettles' position play, Jim. We talked about that before the game because it was great play on Cowens yesterday.
Well, you're right. He just knows where to play. That's what makes him so tough. He knows when to play the line. He plays the deepest third base of any third baseman. Everybody says he's vulnerable to the bunt, but nobody bunts.
He said, I knew the pitcher was going to throw a curve. I moved into the line.
That's popped up on the left side. Rep to the railing. It's in the crowd.
That's why, Howard, a lot of times you will see the shortstop and the second baseman telling each other what the pitch is because of either who's going to cover or they want to know what's coming. A lot of times the shortstop will tell the third baseman what's coming because he can't see the signs to prepare him for a breaking ball. It's all part of winning baseball.
That's true. This crowd is all hopped up now, but there's still another 3 outs for Guidry to get. Now the game has everything, Keith, of yesterday's game.
A crowd of 56,356. White swings and misses and strikes out. That should be about 9 for Dennis Leonard.
His pitch as fine a game as you could have wanted in the toughest kind of pressure situation. I tell you, these two teams are, as I said at the beginning, like two fighters, giving everything, accepting everything, giving and taking, and it's a matter of stamina and, to a degree, luck.
Munson checks high, ball 1.
Well, it goes back to what I said yesterday about what Hal McRae said. He just felt, and of course, we were going to discuss this at length about the fact that New York keeps adding players. You said, do I think they bought the pennant? No, I don't, but they do go out and get the best free agent almost every year, so I guess it's a matter of opinion. It's just hard to compete with a club that does that. I think we found that in Baltimore.
Well, you lost a lot of people. I don't think this is time to go into it again, but Autry at California, Crockett San Diego, Corbett at Texas, they went out and bought players and spent a fortune, and they haven't won.
1-1 pitch coming to the Yankee captain. Munson hits it to center field. Otis makes the catch. The inning is over. War continues to roll at 2-1 New York. Game number 4 for the American League Championship. The Yankees lead the series 2-1. 3 outs. They have won their 3rd successive American League title and will meet the Los Angeles Dodgers for the 2nd successive year in the World Series.
But they got to get those 3 outs, and Guidry's got to get past Amos Otis. 98 runs batted in, 296 hitter on the year, 5 of 10 in this playoff championship series going into today. Then he's got to get past Al Cowens, who was 2nd in the balloting for MVP last year, and then past Darrell Porter, who sustained these Royals in mid-season when others were injured, like George Brett. So Ron Guidry, even with a 25-3 record, has his work cut out for him.
If you're thinking long ball, as Guidry winds and delivers to Otis, and he hits it down in the corner, and it is going to be in there for 2. Thomason is playing left field for New York, and Otis motors into second standing.
See what I mean? Gossage is working furiously in the bullpen. Guidry, who had been pitching suddenly on 3 days rest with an obviously frail body for a pitcher, had 4 days rest this time, but he has had, by his own admission in our pregame interview, a tired shoulder for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And now here is Al Cowens, and here comes Bob Lemon with Thurman Munson. And so the drama in this 3-year championship series between the Yankees and the Royals continues.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the change here. Gossage is ready. They'll call him.
Well, that makes sense, Keith. He got that ball up and in on Amos, and he still hit it. So that usually indicates that you're getting a little bit tired. But he pitched a great game.
Standing ovation from the Yankee Stadium crowd.
And not about to forget that he is 125 and lost but 3 and carried the Yankees to the Eastern Division title.
Well, that's exactly why they brought Goose Gossage to serve in the capacity that he's about to face. Time is out. We'll be back.
Greg Nettles covering at third base. Watch the play here. Umpire Lou DeMuro called Wilson out. Now, you make up your mind where the tag was, if it was. Kansas City manager Whitey Herzog plenty hot about it, and little wonder, except for the run in the first inning, Kansas City hadn't even had a mild threat with Wilson at third base, which he would have been, of course, with a safe call. A sacrifice fly by Hal McRae, who was up at the time, would have put the Royals in front by a score of 2-1. But since that time, there's been no threat until the one Kansas City has right now. For that, let's go back to the stadium and Keith Jackson.
All right, back here at Yankee Stadium, Clint Hurdle is hitting for Al Cowens. They've sent the left-handed bat to the plate, and it's 1-1. As Goose Gossage has relieved Ron Guidry. Hurdle, only 21 years of age, a rookie, and they took out of the lineup one of the best right field fastball hitters that Kansas City has in Cowens. Strike 2.
Well, that's an implicit suggestion that maybe Herzog shouldn't have done it. What do you think, Jim?
Well, Al Cowens is one of the best guys to go to right field. Right here, that's what you want. You want to get that runner to third base.
On the other side of the coin, Hurdle has hit Yankee pitching for far better than his season's average.
But he just struck out.
That's right. So Herzog faces the second guess if Kansas City doesn't score. But here comes Darryl Porter, quite capable of hitting the ball out.
I think if you go back to yesterday's game,
he has really hit Gossage in his career.
Last home run was September 11th. First runner in scoring position for Kansas City since the 4th inning.
Bob Lemon, who showed such patience yesterday. Lecoq tripled to open the 6th inning.
He's on deck.
He left Hunter in. And Hunter got out of the inning without being scored upon. Quickly removed Guidry tonight because this is it, and Lemon knows it.
1 out. Otis off second. Pitch is high to Porter. Pete Lecoq is on deck to hit for Wathan.
Herzog has been through this before, but no man has a thick enough skin to withstand this. Not 3 years in a row.
Yankees beef on the call. 2 balls and no strikes.
Munson doesn't believe it, Keith. Neither does Gossage. Look at it again. Looks to be right in there.
and this allows Porter to be a little bit quicker. He can really guess for the fastball.
Well outside. 3 balls, no strikes to Darryl Porter. Pete Lecoq is on deck. He's a tough out.
He's proved it the last 2 games. What a windup for this series, if it is.
3-1.
If there's a 5th game tomorrow night, Mr. Jackson, you're flying with me to Miami.
3-1. 3-2. Now it is Porter staring in disbelief. Goose with his neck closed. 3-2 pitch. Foul. Kind of an interesting comment by Gossage in his last relief appearance when he had told that Johnson came out and just yelled at him for being lackadaisical. Made him mad. Blew him away. That is hit out into left center field. It is in the short zone, and Paul Blair's great speed brings him in to make the catch. 2 out. Now it is up to young Pete LaCock.
And it comes down to this. A young man who used to play with the Chicago Cubs. The son of a game show host named Peter Marshall, Hollywood Squares, who was never thought of as an exceptional ball player, but who got sent to Kansas City in a deal, and who has proved himself and then some, and who in the past 2 days has played loose and easy because he's not been with them the last 2 playoff series, and he has produced, and here he is.
Foul, strike 1. The tying run is at second base in Amos Otis, who doubled to lead the inning. The hurdle struck out, batting for Cowens. Porter has hit a fly ball to left center that's caught by Blair. That is foul out of play. It is strike 2.
Tough position to be in for LaCock. He's got to swing at almost anything. And I imagine Gossich's ball's getting up there somewhere around 95 miles per hour. He was talking on radar.
I don't think it's easy for Gossage either, Jim, frankly. It's a tough position. This is what baseball's about.
2-strike pitch. Hit out to left field. Thomason has it. Catches it. Yankees win.
And Keith, it's happening all over again. Gossage is mobbed. Munson is mobbed. The fans are out there. They've chewed up this infield in the past and the outfield too, picking up turf. They're going crazy. So once again, it will be the Yankees against the Dodgers in the World Series. And if the Yankees have proved anything, they know how to win. And there, a dejected Dennis Leonard, who pitched a perfectly brilliant ball game. And all right, Kansas City has lost to the Yankees 3 years in a row. And they did have the greatest comeback ever from 14 games behind. And Lou Piniella going in. But Keith, give Kansas City the credit they deserve.
Fine baseball team, but it's a baseball team that is deeply, I suspect, bitterly disappointed. Having lost a 3rd successive American League Championship Series to the New York Yankees, the first 2 in 5 games, this one in 4 games. Final score 2-1. Guidry won it. Gossage saved it. Leonard lost it. You have the madness down on the infield. Impossible almost to stop the flow as they came pouring out of the stand. Bob Lemon, don't forget Bob Lemon. He has become the first manager since Gabby Hartnett with the Chicago Cubs in 1938 when he replaced Charlie Grimm to win a pennant after taking over a team from another manager.
And hit a home run in the darkness to beat the Pittsburgh Pirates, Keith. And there is no way, I don't think, that you could control that crowd madness.
Yankees 2, Royals 1. Back after this message and the word from our local station. The Yankee dressing room, their 3rd successive American League championship. Ahead of them, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who defeated the Philadelphia Phillies today to win the National League title. They will square off for a 2nd successive year. There's Bucky Dent, who hit that home run at Fenway Park in the tiebreaker on Monday. That played such a major role in getting New York into the playoff series against Kansas City. The crowd milling about Yankee Stadium. They just came surging out of the stands. Virtually impossible to control it, so they just let them come on and hope they leave some grass.
You mentioned Bob Lemon giving the Yankees their due. They knew unexpected heroes. But right now, our colleague Bob Uecker in the Yankee dressing room with the club captain and professional Thurman Munson.
Well, here are we on? This is Thurman Munson. Thurman again. Unbelievable. This is 3 times in a row now, and I made it just in time to take the bat. Thurman, I thought tonight the play of the game, the backhanded pickup he made in the dirt, the throw to third base to get Willie Wilson.
Well, you know, I wanted to throw the hitter a slider because I thought, you know, he might be sitting on a fastball with Wilson on base, and just throw a backup slider in the dirt, and I threw it to third base. Pup made a hell of a tag, and we're here. That's all.
Well, you knew the Kansas City Ball Club was going to run on you, Thurman, and as it turned out, they stole bases. They play aggressive type baseball. That's the way it was going to be the whole series.
You know, Bob, it's funny. You know, they keep putting things in the paper and trying to embarrass the club and embarrass me by saying we know we can run, and this guy will do this and that. You know, from the 7th inning on, about three playoffs now, they haven't stolen a base. To the hell with them. I don't care what they say.
Thurman yesterday, the man of the hour, the big 2-run homer, and of course it had to be the biggest one of the biggest you've ever hit.
Well, I hadn't hit one in 54 games. Figured yesterday might be a good time. I'll tell you what, you know, if it wasn't for the rest of these guys, I wouldn't be here because I didn't have the greatest year, but they sure hell did, so it turned out to be nice.
What about Guidry tonight, Thurman? What about his performance tonight?
Ronnie's arm was tired tonight. You know, he knew it. His elbow was a little bit tight when the game started. He knew it. I asked him how long he could go, and all of a sudden we got a run, and he just became a world beater again. And, you know, what can you say about Ron Guidry this year? He deserves anything he gets.
What about Goose Gossage? Another big save for the Goose coming in again tonight.
Yeah, the Goose, you know, for the last, actually for about the last 90 games, he's just been unbeatable. I'm stuttering, no. He's just been unbeatable, and you know, what can you say about anybody? You know, Nettles hit the home run tonight, made 2 good plays at third base. Everyone yesterday, Reggie and the rest of the guys. What the hell? You know, it's been a lot of fun. We owe a lot to somebody, I'll tell you.
Okay, Thurman, beautiful job again, Reggie. Reggie Jackson, 3 times in a row now, kid. Another big win here tonight. Kind of a barn burner again for Kansas City and the New York Yankees.
Yeah, Bob, it was, you know, it's a great baseball game, and really that's what baseball's all about, to see a great game and 2 outstanding performances tonight from the pitching. And, you know, you saw good fielding, good plays, and key hitting, and it's just the way it should be with a national audience and a big crowd and all the excitement, and thank God we won. What about Dennis Leonard? He looked a lot sharper than he did the first time out, Reggie. Well, he looked good to me. He struck me out 3 times. He was, you know, very good the first about 5 or 6 innings, Bobby. He kept the ball out of the strike zone with real good stuff, and he had us biting and not being able to hit it. Then later on in the ball game, he didn't quite throw. I can't swim, you see. And later on in the ball game, he wasn't quite throwing as hard. He was getting the ball on the white of the plate. He was throwing a little bit too much in the strike zone, but you know, I'm just glad we won. I'm very happy. Well, you're going against the Dodgers, and I guess that's the way the Dodgers wanted it. Well, I didn't really want it because we beat them last year, you know, and they're a great ball club, and I know they're going to be up for us. I have some great players. I'm a California boy, so I'm looking forward to get out there and, you know, have a good time with the ball club. Okay, Reggie Jackson, where's Goose Gossage? We got the Goose here someplace. Where's he at? Here's Bucky Dent right here. Come on in, Bucky. Bucky, the big home run in the game against the Boston Red Sox to win it, and of course now the victory against the Kansas City Royals, 3 in a row, and I know you got to be very happy. You're excited, I know that.
Oh, I'm real excited. You know, our ball club's come a long way, and I'm really proud of these guys. I'm proud to be a part of this team because, you know, we struggle all year, and you know, if we're at the end like this, it's just great.
What about Ron Guidry? An unbelievable performance all year long, and again tonight in a big ball game. He pitched the clincher against Boston, and again tonight here against Kansas City.
All year long he's done for us. He's the greatest, man. I tell you, he deserves everything he gets, you know, and he's just picked us up all year, and tonight he did it again.
Okay, Bucky, then we got the Goose over here. Goose Gossage. Come on, Goose. Hey, you. From the fire to the heater right here. Ron Guidry, you get rid of Ron Guidry, and all of a sudden you got to look at Goose Gossage. Another big ball game tonight, Goose. Another big save for you. As big as the game against Boston or not?
Well, you know, it typifies, I think, the type of season that we've had this second half. You know, we've got a heck of a ball club, and, you know, everything that we've done this year hasn't come easy. We've done everything the hard way, and, you know, we kind of expected it to go to tomorrow, you know, the way we've done things this year. But, you know, it's a great feeling, and this is, you know, like Boston. It was just like Boston, the same feeling.
Okay, another super job by Goose Gossage. Now let's go to Jim Lampley.
Thanks very much, Bob. This is a very quiet Kansas City dressing room, obviously, and I'm talking to shortstop Fred Patek. Fred, seems like every year you extend them to the fullest, and they just seem to have the little extra resource necessary to beat you. Where do you think you might have fallen short this year?
Well, I think we fell short when Lou DeMuro called Willie Wilson out at third base. I don't know why. I
Did it
think
appear from your dugout as though Wilson was in there?
Well, I thought it appeared from the dugout, and I thought from the replays that everything was seen, and it just looked like he anticipated calling him out before the play was there. And you just can't do those kind of things. Those ball games mean too much, and I don't know. You play a long time. It's a tough year, and you hate to see it all hinge on a call, but that's the second time it's happened here.
Ball club came out tonight, and George Brett gets a triple off Guidry. You hit the long ball off Guidry. Looked as though you might be able to get him. Then he seemed to get tougher.
Well, we hit the ball hard. I hit that ball good. The ball that I hit, the line drive I hit to Nettles at third base. Frank's running. If that ball gets through, he scores easy. You know, if Wilson's not called out on that play, Willie scores on max sacrifice fly. I think we played a pretty good ball game. We really did. But the thing is we should still be out there playing. And you can't, I don't know, Jim, I'll tell you, we come here every year, and we got to scrape and fight, and we're a pretty good ball club. But that's 2 times now that we've come here, and the umpires have taken it away from us, and we don't really care. We just want a fair share. We don't want anything out of the ordinary. If the man's out, call him out. If he's safe, call him safe. But don't anticipate a call. And
you think calls have gone against you throughout this series, or is just the DeMuro call on Wilson the specific one that bothers you most?
Well, that's the only one that counts, really. The other ones are history. So is that one. The thing that's so bad about it, if he sees it and he says, well, maybe I might have missed it, it's too late. You know, maybes don't count. We play just as hard as the Yankees do all year to try to get to the World Championship, and I think we're a deserving ball club just like they are, Jim. But we hit the ball pretty good off that man, and I really thought we came to the ball club we came to the clubhouse very relaxed, and we thought we really had an honest chance. Everybody was giving Leonard was shaking him off, and he threw, I think Dennis threw a better ball game than Ron.
He worked hard. You all did. We thank you very much for talking to us at a time when I'm sure you didn't want to talk to anybody. Now let's go to Bob Uecker in the Yankee dressing room with Greg Nettles.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. And here's Greg Nettles, one of the hitting stars tonight, fielding stars, outstanding play tonight. Greg, all around third base, and you told me before the ball game you did your regular thing, stopped for a couple of burgers on the way to the ballpark, and that was it.
Yeah, I didn't want to change my routine this late in the year. I've been having success with it that way, but I like to talk more about the defensive play than a home run. I've always said I get a bigger kick out of a good defensive play rather than a hit. So, you know, I get that's more that I'll think more about that than I will about the home run, really.
That was a couple of breaks tonight too, defensively for New York. The line drive that you caught to turn into a double play on the steal attempt, and of course the line shot, the last one you caught. Unbelievable play by you.
Right, we made our own breaks. There were breaks that we had to have, and we did it. And we had a super game out of Guidry, and we knew they got the one quick run, but we knew they weren't going to get too many more. So if we could get a 2 or 3, we were going to win.
And the home run you hit appeared to be a high breaking ball from Leonard.
Yeah, he threw a high slider, and he got it in on me just a little bit. I didn't hit it real good, but I knew when I got it, it was good enough to get out of the park.
What about the Dodgers series coming up now? Is that the way you wanted it, Greg? We talked to everybody else. You want the Dodgers again? It doesn't make any difference? I mean, you're happy with the Dodger win?
That's the way I like it, because that's where my family is out there, and I like to play in front of my family and my friends, and I'm just happy to be going out there because I haven't seen my kids now for almost a month, so I'm happy to be going out there.
Well, we've got a soaked and happy Bob Lemon. Bob, I don't have to ask you how you feel tonight.
Well, no, I can't even talk right now. It's just been something, you can't believe, especially when I was replaced earlier in the year and had this wonderful thing happen. It's just, it's too much to happen for one man, I'll tell you that.
Any anxious moments in the 9th inning, Bob, after the double by Otis, and then you went to the bullpen for Gossage?
Well, I just pulled him for Goose with all I had, and of course there's some plays made tonight. Nettles made an outstanding play, and Mickey made some, and that's just the way this ball club has played the last half of the season. And everybody was able to stay healthy, and we brought it home.
I think the final 2 games, you talk about the outstanding defensive play tonight. The first 2 games played in Kansas City were kind of loosely played.
Yeah, well, maybe we're trying to feel each other out or something. But I think that there was might have been a letdown the second game for us. We were still high when we got in the first game, and when we got the 2 kids to pitch wonderfully for us, it gave us a little breathing room. The big game was the important. The first game was a big one.
What about Guidry tonight through the middle innings, Bob? He appeared to struggle at the start of the ball game, and then through the middle innings, it looked like he finally found the groove.
Well, he didn't have his good slider, and we were fortunate that they were swinging at some bouncers up there. They were taking bad hops, so they couldn't hit him. But he got it back, and I think his fastball got a little better, and he was able to control his slider a little more.
Did the the Dodgers wrapped it up today, and I'm sure the Yankees didn't want to lose tonight and stay around here tomorrow and then have to travel.
No, we weren't planning on it, but you never know what's going to happen in a ball game like that where two guys pitch like they did. They both deserve to win, but we got a couple in the front row, and that helped us.
You know, I talked with Thurman Munson earlier. It appeared Dennis Leonard tonight had a much better outing than he did his first time out. He was high, threw a lot of bad breaking balls his first time out, but tonight he was sharp.
Yeah, well, it's the way he is. You know, he's got a great arm, and when he puts it together, he's awfully tough.
You get into a ball game, you get into situations, sixth inning, one on, and you're looking for somebody to hit the home run.
Well, we pull for any way you can score, and that's just in the great streak that we've had. That's just what's happened. There isn't any one certain way we've done it. We've done it with good pitching most of the time, and once in a while a long ball, and it seems like everybody just picks each other up, and you know that's what you have to do to be where we're at right now.
Okay, Bob Lemon, now let's go back upstairs. Wait right here.
My mother. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Let's go back upstairs to Keith Jackson.
Hi, Mom. Well, the New York Yankees, 1978 American League champions. It's a fait accompli. ABC's Weekend News is coming as the Yankees now head for the World Series for the second straight year against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Once again, New York 2, Kansas City 1. Be with us Monday night for ABC's NFL Monday Night Football when the Cincinnati Bengals meet the Miami Dolphins live at 9 Eastern Time. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United built the largest airline in the free world around you. This 1978 American League Championship Series game, a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Monday.
We got a call.